Hi folks, it's John from lastchanceautorestore.com. I'd like to share with you a quick update. This is on the 1956 Volkswagen Beetle or Bug sedan, and it's the oval window. So in our previous video, we shared with you where we had the body sitting on the chassis and we were ready to separate the body. We were taking the trim off, we were ready to take the glass out and all of the interior trim. So we're standing outside right now because it's really noisy in the shop with all the other guys working. So we thought we'd just bring it out to the portable dolly and just do a quick view at its typical rust areas that we're well aware of on the 56 oval. So this is obviously the body on a dolly, and then we have the chassis here just behind it, and it's going to need floor pans and the typical stuff that all Volkswagens do. So we'll share the chassis with you in an upcoming video once we have the rest of it disassembled. But for now, I just wanted to share with you really nice bones and main structure, and it's just the typical areas. And we have a provider for the traditional, they call it H-style rear apron, which is really important that we restore this to period correct standards and the quality of the metal. So we have a supplier for the correct rear aprons. We're not going with a cheaper reproduction. We're going to go with the original German-made style. So we're just quickly look at it. The roof has got lots of dents and dings, but the sides are quite nice. And inside the tunnel, you can see where they've had in the wheel well, where there's been some previous repairs and patching, and you can see some rust holes here, which we were expecting. The bottom panel, the body was welded to the floor pans, so all the heater channels are kind of cobbled up, which we knew, and we'll be replacing the lower panel. So it's traditional rust on Volkswagen Beetle, especially in the 56 era, where the rust is pretty much prone in those sections. If the camera person can come closer and kind of look in the interior, you can see where we removed the original headliner. You can see the oval window opening. You can see the adhesive. That's the factory gray primer and the adhesive for the headliner. You can see the rear wheel wells, the rear tub, and as you come down you can see there's lots of patches there. And then the heater channel is all kind of cobbled up with all kinds of different products. You've got where those tubes are, you've got some fiberglass and metal and all kinds of fun stuff. But that's part of the heater channel that's going to need to be replaced anyway. But the rear parcel shelf is in nice shape. The rear firewall is really nice, and surprisingly the tubs seem to be in nice shape too. And then as the camera person comes around to the front of the dash, you can see we removed all of the components in the dash now. There was a filler panel for radio delete that was covering that hole, but at some point this car did have a stereo, and our client was able to locate a period correct working radio, original Volkswagen radio with the old tube. So we're going to make sure that we install that stereo. You can see the dashboard's in nice shape. We have all the components removed, and then across the top the header's nice shape with the rear view mirror removed. And you can see, the camera probably pick it up, there's numerous dents all over the roof, which we'll deal with and hammer and dolly later. There's lots of rippling there. As we come back to the outside on the driver's door, we're going to make a new piece for the bottom of the door where it's all rusted. You can see where someone's made their own homemade patch for that back, and it's a very common area once again. So we'll remove that and put a correct replacement panel in there. And then as we come around the front nose, you can see the opening of the windshield. Structurally, it's in nice shape. This top portion is nice in the cowl. And then we have some rust holes, which is really common. There's one drain hole from the factory here that my pencil is on, but we've got a hole through here and some corrosion. So we'll cut that out, and with our shrinker stretcher, we'll end up making a custom piece to go in there. Same thing in the other corner. You can probably see, once again, lots of damage, denting sort of stuff going on the roof line, which once again we'll hammer and dolly out. The seals across here, the rubber seals, are all brittle and cracked. We'll be removing these before we sandblast the car, and then once these are lifted up and the rubber's removed, we'll expose if there's surface rust all the way along there, which is quite common. We're really happy with this dash area, or behind the dash, and this section here, it's in very nice condition. The inner wheel wells are in decent shape. Where the speedometer goes through, the speedometer cable, there's some corrosion that we're going to need to correct. And then you can see from this side, the firewall, lower firewall is homemade patch, and then it's rotted on this side. So we'll be replacing that with a factory correct front firewall. And then the front nose, once again, we have a supplier for the correct front nose made in Germany. So we'll have to replace the spare tire section and the outside apron, which is very common once again. We were very careful. It has both nameplates on the front, and back in the day they used almost like a nail, and they to set their pins, they're nailed in to hold two important nameplates, and they are in great condition. So we carefully removed those from the back, and we have them in the file with the car. And then I think the camera can probably pick it up. It has the original stamping in this front section. I don't know if you can make it out, but it's 206115. So it's a ribbed stamp with the embossed numbers, and then there's a plate here that's riveted in that says made in Germany. So the original numbers being there is a really nice thing to see. So we know that that section's original with a lot of patches and a lot of repairs done. So just a brief update. So this is, a lot of people make the comment, wow, it's kind of a funny looking car once the Beetle is off the chassis, and we've got several dollies. So our next step for the body is we're going to make a material list of the steel that we're going to need, and we'll place the order soon, and then in the next little while we'll be getting ready to sandblast the body. But we're going to wait until the metal arrives, and then we'll share an upcoming video of the chassis and the progress on the chassis. So I thank you for watching. This is the 1956 Volkswagen Oval rear window sedan. I'm John from lastchanceautorestore.com.